Alright, welcome back to another video. I'm an ex-competitive Rainbow Six Siege player, and in today's video I'm going to give you a full guide for playing Mozzie in Rainbow Six Siege. I'm going to be going through everything from loadout to basic tips to early round, late round, mid round, what you want to do when you capture drones, and then finally some more advanced tips, as well as some in-game setup examples of what I like to run. So for the loadout, Mozzie is in a good place where he has two good primary weapons that you can choose from. Excuse the iron sight on the commando, I was messing around in standard. But I personally will always choose the Roni. There has been times where I've preferred the Commando 9, but that was typically because I like the reload animation, not because the gun was better. But personally I prefer the Roni. Even with the small magazine size and the low damage that it provides, it has a high fire rate and a quick reload speed, so that it will provide you a lot more success than using the Commando, in my opinion. For the pistol, he's only got the SDP 9mm, so you can only use that. And then for the secondary gadget, I always run Nitro Cell because I like to use the pests. Alright, so as quick as I can, I'm going to go through some Mozzie basics for you. If you already know this stuff, you can skip a little bit further on and you'll get past this. But for the basics, if you're putting a Mozzie pest on a single doorway like this right here, you always want to put it on the side of the door like this, rather than putting it sort of in the middle of the door. The reason why is because this will still cover the full radius of the door. As you see in the circle, it will cover the full door, so any drone that tries to drive through the door will get Mozzie pested. And because it's on the side of the door frame like this, it's not going to be able to be shot by an attacker who's trying to push in. Like if I go out and try and show you, the attacker would have to come literally inside to be able to see it, so that was not it's not a viable solution for the attacker to do. What you never ever want to do is place a Mozzie pest in the middle of a door like this, unless you want to try and cosplay as a sponge 3 rank. Now for staircases, placing Mozzie drones on staircases, generally you just want to put them in the middle of the staircase. If you're doing it from the top, I'll just put it kind of at the top of the stairs, but wherever you want, kind of doesn't really matter with staircases. But you want to make sure you put it in the middle of the staircase so the radius covers the whole width of the staircase. But because there's not really that many great spots to hide Mozzie pests on stairs, you can kind of jam them under this, but if someone's walking up the stairs, obviously they can shoot it and see it. So it doesn't really matter, like I said before, where you place them on staircases, as long as they're just kind of in the middle and cover the full width of the stairs so a drone can't sneak up. I would avoid placing them like this though, especially on this staircase where a drone could kind of try and sneak up as far as it can, try and jump past it, but it's kind of rare that you would see that happen. But just in case, I would put it at the top of the stairs to avoid that. Finally, for double doorways, I usually tend to avoid placing Mozzie pests on double doorways unless it's a barricaded door by default like this. Just because if you place a Mozzie pest in the middle of a double door, if you place it on the side of a double door, sorry, it's not going to cover the full width of the door. And generally, there's no double doors that require you to place two like this to actually cover the full width. It's not that useful. So I tend to avoid it, and obviously the only way to get the full width with one Mozzie pest is to put it in the middle like that, and that's just going to get shot unless there's a barricade on the door. So what I'll do is I'll place the Mozzie pest like that, and then worst case, if the barricade gets shot down, the Mozzie pest will still stay there on the floor, still active and ready to capture drones. And the good part is it sometimes gets sort of blocked by debris, so it's harder to see. But obviously the way the debris falls might not block it. But in the case of staircases and double doors like that, I usually will put them on them to capture prep phase drones, where it doesn't really matter if they get shot. They're not going to get shot because it's prep phase drones that I'm trying to capture with them. So I'll try and get them down early in the round, which I'm going to go into now, talking about the early round. So in prep phase, you generally want to go around the map setting up your pests and also trying to hunt down drones that you see just driving around. You don't really want to be the one doing the bulk of the reinforcing. You might want to reinforce maybe 1 or 2 walls, but for the most part you want to tell your teammates, can you guys reinforce? I'm going to go run around and put down pests. Just because you need to have the time to actually be able to get these drones early before they get placed into good positions. So when you're running around, if you sit there reinforcing for 30 seconds and then you start coming around trying to place drones on Mozzie pests on staircases, the drones could already be passed, could be sitting up there, could be hiding in the library somewhere at the top, and you're never going to be able to find them realistically. So at the start of a round, generally I'll go place my drones on top of staircases if I'm on a top floor site. This is because all drones will spawn on the the ground floor level, the low spawn where the spawn of the attacker is. So if I'm spawning on the rock here, my drone will spawn around here, or it'll spawn over there somewhere, and then I'll have to drive it up. And for the most part, if you're on a top floor site, the drones cannot come in from the outside on the top floor unless they do some parkour. There was a really good parkour you could do on Clubhouse to get it up to the strip club drone hole. But no one really does that anymore, so it doesn't really matter. Like, you want to put them on staircases where the drones are going to come up in the prep phase to try and find the site and find where the players are located. Typically, when I'm doing this as well, I'll only use maybe 2 on staircases. Like, I'll use one there, one top blue. And then the second 2 I'll use to play in a position, because Mozzie's great at holding down positions because he can stop himself from being droned in that position. So let's say I want to hold down top library, like / mez area. Generally, I'll put my Mozzie pests on staircases, and then I'll go and put some towards library sites so they can't drone me from library. So I'll put one like here. I'll like, oof, do that. The reason why you want to break the barricade before you put it on is because if the barricade gets shot down, the Mozzie pest will fall, and the radius will go like that, and it won't cover the like as much as the window. So if you do it like that, the Mozzie pest won't fall down when the window breaks. Can't really do it on here, but you can just put it below the window like this. And then that allows me to be able to play a little bit more ratty in library, and I can hold this a little bit more solo, because if they can't draw me out, I can play in like off corners like this, wait for them to jump in, or I can play like tucked in suicide spot here and wait for them to jump in. And then obviously if I need to leave, I can try and run away, or I can open up the hatch and leave with a C4, which you don't really want to try and do. But if you don't get droned out because you're Mozzie pests, then you're able to sit there and get a freebie, and then off the chaos you can try and run away. So typically, as I've just kind of explained, Mozzie is best at being a sort of roamer / map control holder kind of operator, where you can use your pests like to block drones from initially coming up, and then use your pests to stop people from pushing into you by like they can't really drone you, so they're going to struggle a little bit. Now for the early round, this is after prep phase. Generally, if you've got a drone captured, the first drone that I capture, I will nearly always place it for a vertical C4. So let's use this chalet example. If I'm capturing a drone and I'm playing top floor, I'll generally put a kind of library side so I can get a C4 below the library double window or the library single window. And then if I'm doing that, I won't hold this map control. I'll go like fall back and let my teammates hold that, just so I can be alive to watch the cam and C4 it. However, if that's not the case and you want to hold down this map control, then generally what I'll do is I will just sort of stay alive in the position and waste as much time as possible, because the reason why you're holding on to map control is to waste time. It's not to get kills. Well, you might get kills in the process, but the main idea is to waste time so the enemies have less time to push into sight, because you're stopping them at the first entry point by being here, being alive. Obviously you want to set it up properly, but you want to like have a good position to sit there early, waste time, then have fallback options to get back to site where you can. This is because in the mid round I generally start falling off to use my drones and to use my like C4 and stuff like that if I haven't already used it. So early round I'll play off in a position, then I'll fall back to a more safer position, which I would generally play like piano area or like by this bathroom door here, to stop the piano push, or piano I can stop the K9 push and the piano double door push, but wherever feels safer for you to play. So like you want to peel back a little bit, but not all the way fully back. You're not fully playing all the way back somewhere very, very safe where you're never going to die or you're never going to see any gunfight. Ideally as well, if you still have a Mozzie drone alive within the round, I like to sort of push it more closer towards the site. So let's say I had the drone in library, I want to push it more towards this like blue hallway. I'll put it like in this corner here, so I can see this blue hall, people pushing piano double door, and then I can be ready to swing off that drone's info by like playing here, playing piano, or playing here, like I said before. Now for the late round part of Siege, this is where the Mozzie drones become really, really important, because with your Mozzie drones that you have, if you have 1, 2, if you're lucky you have 3, generally you won't have 4, like I'm just telling you. This is where you can use your drones to figure out what the enemies are going to do when they execute. Now the way that I like to do this is, if I have that drone top blue like I said before, I'll start watching that and I'll start like trying to see if I can drive it around towards like the library breach, sorry, the K9 breach here, the office breach, and then see how many people I can count. Let's say I count 2 people on the breach, 2 people piano, like a piano double door. I don't know where the last guy is. He could be K9, I might see that on the drone, I might hear that, or he could be somewhere else. That's where I'll be telling my teammates to be like, be careful for a solar flank, because we don't know where one person is. Or I'll be telling my teammates, right, they're going to push in soon, they're getting ready to come through the breach. The ace is crouching through the breach right now. I'll be giving that information and watching the drone and sort of feeding off information about the execute. This is great, not only because it will tell you sort of what the execute is going to look like so you're ready for it, but it also will tell you what angles you need to watch as a defender and what angles your teammates need to hold. So you can be like, somebody hold the piano double door, someone hold the breach right now because someone's swinging it. And then with the information you can be like, okay, swinging in 3, 2, 1, so they're ready to pre-fire, or they're ready just for the gunfight in general. It's always nice as well if you have a C4 this late into the round. By late round, by the way, I'm kind of saying like the last minute of the round, last 45 seconds. Early round is the first minute, mid round, second minute, etc. But if you have a C4 this late in the round and the site has soft floor like this, or like the office site, you can go below with your C4 and use your drone obviously to C4 or plant as well, which just kind of guarantees you a win. Now for some more advanced and kind of bonus tips with Mozzie. Here's a way that I like to nearly always guarantee a free Mozzie drone off the start of every round. Let's use Chalet as an example like we have been. As you will know, attackers' drones will spawn where they choose to spawn. And this means that it's always going to be on the outside, on the ground level. And so they're going to have to drive the drone into the building. So why don't you take the advantage of that? If you have like a map like Chalet where you have the fireplace double door, just run instantly off spawn. Place a drone on the double door. And then you'll catch a drone really quickly within the round. I get this so many times. This comes like and pops off. And this can be done on multiple maps as well. So try and figure out situations where you can do this. Sometimes it might come through little drone holes outside of the map. Sometimes it'll come through double doors like that. This one's a really, really big one because everybody tries to get a drone top fireplace like here, or on top of here, or kind of on the little plants. So it's a very, very good one to put one on that double door especially, but try and figure out situations where you can do this yourself. Another one I like as well, just to give you an example, is if you're playing basement on Clubhouse, go and putting it on the kitchen hallway door is a good one as well, because you can do that really, really quickly and it gets you a drone nearly every time, well, most times. Now the next bonus tip I want to give you with Mozzie is don't be scared to drone your teammates around the map. So I'm using Echo as an example just because I don't have a Mozzie, like an enemy in the game to get a Mozzie best drone. So don't be scared to have a drone and be like, okay, yo, bandit, push with me. Like follow my drone, I'm going to give you, like, drone you out. Obviously you can't jump it up with a Mozzie drone, but so like drone it out, give the information to your teammate, be like, okay, I'm droning your top mez is clear. There's a Twitch in library on a drone or something. This isn't not like a real game example, but it's just kind of me explaining what kind of things you'd want to say. So you'd want to be like, okay, this is clear, like say the room name obviously. Say there's a person here doing what thing, like on a drone, crouching, holding an angle kind of thing. And then obviously the teammate can follow up off that. If you're solo queuing, I wouldn't really recommend doing this, but if you have a stack that you're confident with, get your best gun at to follow your drone, like why not? Think of it like this, if you're following a drone on the attack side, it's like the most common way to enter a map and enter a building, and the most common way to take space. So if you're a defender, you might want to retake some space. Like let's say you've lost library control, you're running a little bit low on man count, like it's a 4v5 or a 3v5. You might want to take some space back to try and push the fight back to them, get the man count back in your favor. So push your drone out, like follow someone, make someone follow your drone, and then try and get some freebies and get the man count back in your favor kind of vibe. Alright, so now we're going to go through some in-game examples. I just want to quickly say all of these examples, or these two examples I'm going to show you, were taken from standard games, just because I'd played 2 cheater games in a row before this and I was like, I'm not playing another ranked, I'm going to go on standard and get these clips. So what you want to look for here is how I'm doing the prep phase and what I'm doing with my drones. It's kind of what I've explained earlier, but I'm just showing you it in practice. So I've just spawned in, we're on top floor and canal. The first thing I do is go run to the red stairs, put a drone, like a pest stair down. That gets a drone instantly. Then I put one on the green stairs. That doesn't get one, but yeah. As you can see, I start hunting down these drones. Because it's standard, people don't really care about the drones. So I get a drone off that as well, like by chasing one down. What you want to notice from that is make sure you're getting the staircases and make sure you're following drones and hunting them down. Don't be shooting them with your gun, shoot them with your pest if you have any in your pocket. Obviously though, don't just leave a drone alive because you don't have any pests left in your pocket. If you have no pests, just shoot the drone, like get it gone. But what you also want to notice from this clip as well is the first thing that I do with the Mozzie drone that I hack. I always take the first drone to like a vertical C4 position where I can get a vertical C4. So what you'll see is I'll put it here in printer, and then I'll go run below, and then I'll go run below and then place the C4 down below it. Sorry, I'll just skip past it there. Place the C4 down below it, then find a safe spot in the map to sit on the cam. In this example though, nobody went above to like get C4, like nobody came in printer, so it was a bit useless, but it's always nice to have that there in case somebody does come in printer. In ranked, people will generally come in printer side, so. Alright, so this next example, we're on theme park and we're defending the office initiation site, and as you can see again, the first thing I do with my Mozzie is go run around putting my drones on, my pests on staircases, so that I can catch any early drones coming upstairs from spawn. I'll just run through the map, getting like drones on staircases, and so just like I've been saying, the first thing I always do with my drones when I hack one is to put it right where I want to get a vertical C4. So I'll put it on this round. I've put it in cafe. might add as well, usually I like to put it first of all on entry points because generally people want to enter the map, right? So common entry spots on theme park, cafe is one, so that's a good spot to put it pre-placed. And then I'll ping the door just so I can put the C4 in the perfect spot. And then obviously I get back on the drone, put it into a good spot to hold the door. This isn't really a great spot. I move it once the Zofia moves out the way. And then I just sit, watch that, wait for somebody to walk in, blow the C4 up and try and get a freebie from it. In this game, as you can see, it does actually work out, but I can't guarantee a double kill every time you do it, but you will get at least one if you're lucky. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, please drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.